Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Football Fan Show Transfer Deadline Day special, live on twitch.tv/Dead Air Media Football and on YouTube, Dead Air Football. Hello. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I will be joined by a guest. Sorry, Swindon Town have just signed somebody, and I can't tell you about it till 6 o'clock because it's embargoed, but they've signed someone. They've already signed one player earlier, but they are about to sign another player. They brought in a kid on loan from Bristol City earlier on in the day. I think that broke out around 4 o'clock. Adam Murphy joined on loan. There were 2 loan spots available. My prediction was a midfielder and a centre-back. And I can't confirm the next signing until 6 o'clock. So we've got about a minute to go until I can confirm that one. Welcome. I am going to be joined by a guest. Do leave your thoughts. Drop a comment on the transfer news today. Whatever you're thinking. Alexander Isak, as I keep calling him, it's Isak, but I call him Isak for some reason. He has joined Liverpool for £125 million, which was confirmed in the early wee hours of the morning. 25 seconds to go until I can break the Swindon Town news, which I will be posting on my local radio station's Facebook page. Although, I will say, Swindon Town, in their press email, have not sent me any details on who the player is, so, or any comments that he's made. So it's clearly a last-minute deal. But they've used their loans for what I predicted they would use them. Defender. They've signed a defender. Right, I can reveal that Bristol City defender Jamie Knight-Lebel has joined Swindon Town. Unclear to whether he's joined on loan, but they have not made that clear in the email they sent to me. But Swindon Town have got a loan defender now. So Swindon Town very busy in the transfer market today with their 2 loan signings, adding to Ollie Palmer's permanent transfer signing as well. So, yeah, a very good weekend, a very good week for Swindon Town Football Club in terms of transfers. Season-long loan, there we go. They didn't put that in the email. I wish they'd put that in the email. I could have prepared it better. There we go. Posted. Cool. I've already confirmed it. The club has just confirmed it on their social accounts. Another Bristol City player on loan. Jamie Knight-Lebel has joined on a season-long loan. So there we go. 2 Bristol City players joining Swindon Town on loan. But you don't care about that. You care about what's been happening in the main transfer window stories today. Of course, the transfer window shuts at 7 o'clock tonight. Liverpool have completed the £125 million signing of Alexander Isak. I call him Isak, from Newcastle. That was done in the wee hours of the morning. All formalities have been done with the official announcement expected shortly. Liverpool are also expected to sign Crystal Palace defender Mark Gay. Brentford forward Yona Wissa has completed a medical at Newcastle. So Wissa's on the move. Aston Villa are close to completing loan deals for Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho from Manchester United. Manchester City are in advanced talks to sign goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma from PSG. I'm not surprised by that. He was linked with them pretty much after the Super Cup when Donnarumma didn't play. And Rangers are going to sign defender Derek Cornelius on loan from Marseille. So that is where we are at. That's the lay of the land at the moment. My guest hopefully will be joining me in the next 15 minutes or so. As we count down, you can see the clock is there. That's 6 o'clock, 1800, 3, 7, 8, 9. You can see it. It's counting down the minutes, the moments until 7 o'clock when the window will be shut, and we will try and get you the latest transfer news as it comes into us here at Dead Air Football. Of course, one of the big stories today is Erik ten Hag sacked as Bayer Leverkusen boss as well. So not the greatest time he had there. Let's be honest. He didn't have much of an impact at that club. 2 league games in charge, and then gone. He did have a cup game in the Pokal, but two league games, and he was gone. Apparently, a lot of the board at Bayer Leverkusen, of course, are not a fan-owned club technically, because it's owned by Bayer, the drugs company, because it was set up by their workers. Very unhappy with the way pre-season went, his decisions and his actions. It's almost like they regret appointing him in the first place. Jose Mourinho is, of course, available if they would like to go down that road. I don't think they will. I don't think they will go down that road. So the deal agreed for Chelsea. Chelsea agree a £70.5 million deal with Bayern Munchen for Jackson and loan of Buonanotte. So that is 24-year-old is set to complete an initial loan, which includes an option to buy as well. So that is the latest out of Chelsea this evening. Counting down the minutes and the moments. Ederson is also nearing his exit from Manchester City. I think the story was earlier on in the season that if he left, Donnarumma would come in. Well, Trafford has not been the key man, shall we say, for Manchester City at this time. So hopefully, where have I gone? I've gone somewhere. My camera's gone. There I am. I'm back. Sorry about that. There we go. Sorry about that. My apologies. So Erik ten Hag sacked as Bayer Leverkusen boss is one of the big headlines today. We're just analysing. I've got my emails open just in case Swindon Town sign anybody else. I don't believe they will. They've maximised their 5 loan signings, so I don't believe they'll sign anyone unless there's a free agent available. But I was chatting with somebody this morning, I predicted a midfielder and a defender would join. And they got one. They got their midfielder on loan from Bristol City, Adam Murphy, and they've got Jamie Knight-Lebel on loan as well from Bristol City, a centre-back. So exactly who they wanted. Good for them. Swindon Town doing some business. Swindon Supermarine also signing players as well. Alas, you don't care about that because they're not the biggest club in the world. To you, anyway. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to get my guest on, and I gave him the wrong password to join the control room. So, whilst I have a look and make sure that they get in, so that we can continue our little discussion on transfers. Of course, we'll give you an update on what's going on, and we'll get our guests' thoughts when they join the chat. So I might just go off for a little bit of a break, and I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. Tom Moore is my guest. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
He's fresh in from work from the office, as you can see. So, right, let's get to where we are at with the transfers and some sports news as well. So, we know Alexander Isak has joined Liverpool, £125 million, British record move from Newcastle to Liverpool. Liverpool have also had a £35 million bid accepted for Crystal Palace defender Mark Guéhi. Jon Wissa is heading to Newcastle from Brentford. That's not surprising. We've kind of known about that all summer. PSG forward Randall Kolo Muane is joining Spurs on loan. Aston Villa have signed former Manchester United defender Victor Lindelof on a free. Liverpool's Harvey Elliott is going to go to Villa on loan, it looks like. Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson has moved to Bayern Munich. He's joined on loan with a fee to buy, basically, is what's been, looks like that's what's been agreed. Celtic have made a third bid for Hammarby winger Sebastian Tunektree. So good luck to them trying to sign him. Whilst defender Derek Cornelius is at Rangers training centre over a loan move from Marseille. And then elsewhere, outside of transfers, Bayer Leverkusen, just because I thought it would be funny to mention, Bayer Leverkusen have sacked Erik ten Hag just 62 days into the job. 2 league games, 1 game in the Pokal, and that is that. So, yes. What do you make of the British record transfer fee that came through at like 1:30 in the morning this morning?
I personally think they've not overpaid. I think it's a sign of the times with the way the game's going, where Isak, don't get me wrong, is an absolute quality striker. Liverpool, they've got all the goal scoring talent that they need up front already, with Mohamed Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike showing to be a clever bit of business. But adding Isak to that now is obviously going to be amazing for Liverpool. I think rightly so. Other Premier League teams should be scared of what Liverpool could do to them. So 125 million, I think, Newcastle obviously going to invest that very wisely. I mean, you hope, but I think it puts the rest of the Premier League on notice that Liverpool are serious about defending their title. I think when you look at the teams around them, you've got Arsenal, who are the perennial second place team. They are constantly, they've come second in the last 3 seasons. City look like they may be in the middle of a rebuild. I think they've, recent results, losing to Tottenham at home, giving away a 1-goal lead to eventually lose 2-1 to Brighton. I must admit that did fill me with a bit of joy. But I think City are put in that rebuild stage now. They've, bought a lot of different players, a lot of younger players, big heavy hitters like De Bruyne are gone. Ilkay Gundogan looks like he's on his way to Galatasaray. But they're reinvesting in some areas. Obviously, Ederson's on his way out. They've got Donnarumma coming in. They've got Trafford already.
Although he's turned out to be a little bit of a nightmare, isn't he?
I think Pep's realised he needs some safe hands as well. And now that he's got James Trafford as an English goalkeeper to keep the British quota up, he can finally let Scott Carson go after 13 years and 4 games.
You reckon he's just there handcuffed to a radiator?
Yeah, definitely.
You can't leave. Ballum, welcome on YouTube, says that, Tom, you look quite formal, so it must be deadline day. Where's your Jim White tie, man?
I should have a yellow tie, shouldn't I?
You really should. And here I am in a Daft Punk t-shirt, as lazy and slobbish.
Yeah, no, I've just come in from work, and I thought, you know what, it's deadline day. I do love deadline day, so I might as well, appear somewhat nicer for the occasion, because you would have got me sat in my Arsenal shirt otherwise, and I think that all 4 viewers of this podcast would have clicked off as soon as they saw the shirt. So I think it's better to be safe than sorry.
Fair enough. What else did you say, Ballum? Oh, yes. Yeah, you want a video on Clapton. It's not this week's one, it's next week's one. So there you go. It's already in production for you. It's definitely next week, because this week is about a country that banned all its football teams. So there you go, which is out Wednesday at 5. Did you see Paqueta's celebration yesterday? Imagine if he's leaving this evening. I mean,
It'll be very late in the day now. I think it'll be too late to get a deal sheet across. But I did see the celebration. It was very good. I think in the last few days of the window, Aston Villa's have been clutching a lot because their results haven't gone their way. They
mm.
got spanked by Crystal Palace at home. When everyone was looking at Crystal Palace, thinking now that Eze's gone, where's their creativity?
Yeah, I
Just
was
goes to
surprised
show
by that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was going to happen.
yeah. I mean, Palace could be one of the teams to watch this season because obviously they've spent quite well. They've got good players. Their back line with the wing backs in Tyreek Mitchell and Daniel Munoz. They seem to be well positioned for. Dare I say, could Palace climb into the second half of the table? Maybe. I mean, Dean Henderson's going to be wanting to put in some shifts with it being a World Cup season as well.
Yeah.
And Pickford's getting on. Pickford's obviously going to hold that number one spot, but obviously, Dean Henderson's not going to give it up without a fight.
Hull City have signed Besiktas midfielder Amir. Oh, here we go. Here's the name. Hadzar Metakov. I can't even say it. Hadizar Metovic. That's as good as you're going to get out of me. Long-term loan deal.
I don't know what you
Exactly.
just said, I don't know what you said but it sounded delicious.
Yes, exactly. Besiktas currently managerless. So after sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the first of the ex-Manchester United managers to fall, then Jose Mourinho and now Erik ten Hag. There's a common theme there. I don't know what it is. Any transfers that you want us to talk about, you can pop in the comments or anything. Anything that you think this was a great move this summer, then let us know. But for me, I've just got a bunch of emails to go through, and I'm just hoping that I don't get another one from Swindon Town before 7 o'clock that's going to be like embargoed. I don't imagine Swindon Town are going to sign anybody else because they've used up their loan quota, which I think is what they were going to do today for a midfielder and defender, which they've done. So unless a defender is available on a free, I don't see them making any more. I think my email inbox will remain clear. Thanks to Callum Knowles at the media guy at Swindon Town for hitting me up. Balamas, can you call Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein for the stream? No, I don't think we can. But you weirdly, you did talk about David Ornstein before we came on.
Yeah, I think I've been following the transfer rumours on Twitter, and it always seems that Ornstein gets the news first, and Romano does a copy and paste job on X, and then posts it going, "Here we go." I've found Fabrizio to be less reliable this window, especially when obviously as an Arsenal fan, I'm biased, of course, but when he announced the "Here we go" for Eze to Spurs. And then within 24 hours, that got turned around.
Yes.
I think you can trust his sources a little bit less. But Ornstein's one of these people. He never says something. When he does, it's always quite reliable. And obviously, he's an Arsenal fan. So again,
yeah, victory for you, win for you.
There. So yeah, I think. I mean, it's a stretch to get them on the show. I mean, we're currently sat in respective rooms in Swindon, and Romano's probably sat in some kind of
Italian manor.
Somewhere.
Yeah, Italian manor somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
Lovely for him. Igor Julio is on his way from Crystal Palace to West Ham after deciding to not join Crystal Palace. He's decided against Selhurst Park. What's happening with Ollie Palmer? He's signed for Swindon Town on a 2-year deal. That is, I will say, that was a surprising deal. Not that we want to make this stream all about Swindon Town because it's a general transfer talk. But, yeah, Ollie Palmer signing for Swindon on a 2-year deal. I felt for sure that was, when I read that, because it had been rumoured, but it was going to be a loan deal. And then it just so happened to be, they signed a defender on a free transfer who just so happened to be mates with Ollie Palmer. And that's how that got done. And I'm surprised they let him go, because considering that he's been the main character of their TV show for the last 2-3 years. So Ollie Palmer's been more than invaluable to Wrexham and what they've achieved.
Yeah, I did read that Ollie Palmer. He was obviously looking at the potential of moving somewhere closer to London, where his family is, and
Oh
obviously
yeah, north of
you can't get much
Wrexham.
closer to London than being in Swindon.
I mean
Um,
M4 corridor. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Could
So
he not have gone to
he
Wycombe Wanderers?
no, I don't think so. I think Swindon. I think Swindon. People underestimate the pull that Swindon have. You know, that big team mentality that Swindon have in League Two. But I'll stop it there before I go for too far down the rabbit hole and I end up starting telling ridiculous lies.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that was actually that is a very good bit of business. I think what we needed was a proven goal scorer. I think as well, Harry Smith's injury was a bit of a blessing in disguise. You know, no disrespect to Harry Smith whatsoever. I think the fact that we've managed to pull someone like Ollie Palmer in, um, but what I was really taken aback by is obviously I was watching the Swindon Crew game over the weekend,
Oh yeah, the
and
3-0 win. Yeah.
do you know what
They
it
didn't even
is?
need Ollie Palmer in that game.
No, we didn't. No, Aaron Drinan seems to be knocking him in for fun. But what I was really taken aback by was the fact that when we actually play football, when we actually play passing football through the midfield, and we're not relying on hoofing it up to Harry Smith to get his bonce on it, we actually play some absolutely amazing football.
Yeah, Mrs. is singing in the background. Done deal at Borough, bringing in keeper John McLaughlin, 37 years old. He's been training with the club for the past 6 weeks, but that's just come into us. So Middlesbrough have signed John McLaughlin, who is going to my favourite stadium. What is that stadium called, I hear you ask? It is the Riverside, motherfuckers. And if you don't get that reference, it's an old Sidney Sampson track where literally they only say Riverside, motherfucker, throughout that track. And that's it. That's the lyrical content of that song. So he's on his way to the Riverside. That's good. Elsewhere then, what has been the transfer of the summer for you? I would, obviously the saga of the summer has been Isak to Liverpool. But what's been the best transfer for you?
It's difficult to pinpoint one. I think because so many teams have that. A lot of the bigger teams have needed stuff in different areas. They've really needed to improve in certain areas, and I think a lot of the teams have addressed that. I think signing of the window. It's going to be difficult to pinpoint. I would say if we were to break it down by let's say if we break it down via the proverbial top 6 teams, which were like what's been their top signing of the window so far, I think that might be easier than trying to pick out one out of the plethora that have occurred.
Yes.
So, like if we start with Arsenal, for example, I would say for me, signing of the window for Arsenal has been Martin Zubimendi. Okay, I think if you look at Chelsea, I think the signing of the window for Chelsea has been João Pedro. Who else we got Tottenham. I think the signing of the window has been Thomas Frank, if I'm honest. They haven't had a player that really stands out. I mean, they've got Xavi Simons, which is quite good, but he's a lot of raw talent. Obviously, he's going to take time to adapt to the Premier League and the pace of it. And obviously, he's still very young, so obviously he wants to commit his future to Tottenham. Man City, I think the signing of the window for them has been Tijani Reinders, because obviously he's had some really, really good games. And I think that's what they needed in that midfield. They needed some legs because obviously Rodri's not a runner. De Bruyne has gone and he was getting a bit tired. With Liverpool, I think the signing of the window.
I mean, take your pick there.
He's gonna, if it happens, is Alexander Isak, because that would be just the cherry on the top in terms of their attack. That will probably be the most lethal attacking team in the Premier League.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think Mark Gay as well, signing him is a good bit of business. Let's talk about who's had a bad window. I'd obviously say Brentford because they're one of my favourites to be relegated. The quality that they've lost, especially in their manager, as well as just the players, Mbeumo to Manchester United. Looks like Wissa's going to Newcastle at the end. That deal yet to get over the line. They've got until 35 minutes to get this deal done. We'll stream just after till about 7:10, and that's when we'll cut it from there. So if you're joining us, we'll stream until 7:10, because that gives us a good 10-minute window to work out what deals have crossed the line but not crossed the line. There's always this thing of, well, we've received the paperwork, and then there's special dispensation for them to get it done. And of course, the transfer window for England shuts at 7. For Scotland, it's 11 for some reason. I mean, we could just internationally have one set time that is just that's it. Or as Shay Given has said, shut it before the season starts. So, Ballum says, West Ham, to me, they let many players go, a good handful, for example. So, yeah, to be fair, they've not had the best time. Chelsea have had a summer of sales as well, and the imminent transfer of Tyreek George to Fulham and Nicholas Jackson's loan move to Bayern means Chelsea have now banked £300 million, a Premier League record for sales in a summer transfer window, beating their own previous record of £215 million in 2023. So that was their own record that they set. The Blues have already surpassed their highest total of that 215 million. So Chelsea, selling club, I guess now, I suppose. Well, they're also a buying club. I think, given the gambles that they've taken in the past under Poch and Potter, and the players that they've signed to try and offload, they've found somewhat of a stability under Enzo Maresca, and are starting to kind of look like a more stable side. In other news, Jamie Vardy has signed for an Italian Serie A club. I thought he was going to go to Sunderland or Brentford. That's where I thought he would end up. But no, he has signed for an Italian club. And I'm trying Cremonense. I'm trying to find the name or an article to suggest. Yeah, Cremonense, who have just been promoted. So he's got to do it again. Apparently their fans were singing in Italian, "Take us to the Champions League." So maybe if another miracle can be performed, he signed a 1-year deal with a further year if he wants. If the club avoid relegation, then they can extend that deal. Good for Vardy. It's a slower pace, the Italian Serie A league, but I don't know. I would have liked to see him have another go in the Premier League.
I think to be fair, the effort he's gone to get away from Rebecca Vardy he's got a bit above and beyond there. It's flying all the way to Italy. So
I'm sure she'll go with him. I'm sure she will. Yeah, let's not bring up the Wagatha Christie stuff. Oh goodness me, the dumbest name ever. So, someone at Radio Sheffield has just reported that I am hearing all planned incoming transfers at Sheffield Wednesday are on the brink of collapse. They were bringing in people?
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday were bringing in people. They have no money.
I was going to say, is he getting the club's transfer dealings confused with the club itself?
Yes, exactly. Apparently, the EFL once again vetoed all attempts to sign players despite huge efforts from their manager to add to the squad. It's not going to happen. An outside mention from Ballum: could we see Dele Alli on a free transfer? He did leave Como, but I think he's done. I think he'll retire. Yeah, it's a shame, but he's because he quit. They released him, didn't they? Como.
Yeah.
So earlier on in the season, so he's a free agent.
20-minute debut before he got sent off.
Yeah. So it does look like because he got injured. He was injured in the summer, played one game, got sent off, and then it looked like they'd regretted signing him. So I think he might. Is he still there? Oh no, no, it was reported. Yeah, he was looking for a new club after one game. He was he joined in January, and now he is a free agent. So MK Dons go back there.
Yeah. Bit of a hero, bit of a
29 years old. Maybe. He's still young enough, I guess, to contribute. But the thing is, at the top
Mm.
level, he's done. He's done
Yeah.
at the top level. Maybe if he wants to go back to his old club, maybe MK Dons in League Two. But I'm not saying Dele Alli's a League Two level player. If you find, if Dele Alli can regain somewhat bit of form that he had, even a
Mm.
fraction of that, he'll be way too good for League Two.
Yeah,
But,
I could see him playing if he was willing to take the drop. Probably Championship or maybe one of the higher paying League Two teams,
yeah,
League One teams.
or could go to Saudi if he wanted to.
Could go Saudi. Could go to the MLS. Saudi.
I don't think the MLS would touch him based on the lack of success he's had. I think he's not good enough for the MLS. I think they would view him as not good enough. Not that I'm saying he's not good enough. I think he's more than good enough for the MLS, but I don't think they would look at it as a
because the
as a good
MLS is
signing.
really in a position to set the bar of where success is.
Yeah,
of course.
exactly. Yes, with such great players as.
He could always join Barcelona's retirement home team into Miami.
Yes, he could. He could, but the only issue is he's never played for Barcelona. Just having a look at any more deals getting over the line.
I've just seen the fact that Brian Broby has completed his medical in the Netherlands. He's joining Sunderland on a deal worth 17.3 million plus 4 million in add-ons. And he's obviously quite a good striker in the Netherlands, so he's just set to join Sunderland now.
They've had a very good window, haven't they, Sunderland?
Sunderland have had a fantastic window. I think what they've done is what Sheffield United didn't do, is they've got into the Premier League. They've realised, okay, we've got a good squad, but it's not going to be what keeps us in the Premier League. Sheffield United thought, the squad that got us into the Premier League, they can keep us in the Premier League, and hey presto, it didn't happen. So I think Sunderland have bought well, and they've strengthened every part of the pitch. I think their best signing this window is how they managed to pull off the signing of Granit Xhaka is.
Yeah, that was a hell of a move. Apparently, Erik ten Hag did not want that move to go ahead. That is Erik ten Hag did not want that move to go ahead, apparently, from Leverkusen to Sunderland. So apparently that was one of the big disagreements he had with the Leverkusen board as he was sacked.
Yeah, but then Leverkusen's team have been picked apart. Obviously, they've had Frimpong go to Liverpool, Xhaka to Sunderland. They're about to lose Hincapié to Arsenal. They've lost Wirtz to Liverpool. You know, their best players have been. But then again, there's always a window where that one team gets pulled apart in terms of transfers and who wants all their players. You know, in the Premier League, I would say this transfer window, the team that's probably been pulled apart the most is either Brentford or Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
they've lost or about to lose two of their big hitters. Like Brentford have lost Norgard, Mbeumo. They've lost. They're about to lose Visser. There's also, Crystal Palace who have lost Eze. They're probably going to lose Mateta as well. So there's always that one or two teams where everyone just absolutely picks apart your best team. And I think the team of this transfer window across Europe has been Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, no disagreements there. Barry Bannon is still yes at Sheffield Wednesday. What a legend! He'll probably retire there, even though he's probably not been paid for several months. It's a mess of a situation. Hopefully, new owners can be sought. I still think their owner is valuing that club at around 100 million. 100 million, and they're reportedly. The debt level is apparently 2 million, if you believe that. I'd imagine it's a lot more than that. But £100 million for a championship club with hardly any players and is probably going to get relegated. I think they're living in a dream world.
Yeah, and hardly any prospects of going any further than the championship, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, for a good long time as well. Yeah,
I think the Sheffield Wednesday owner has been smoking some of that Sheffield homegrown.
Yes.
In some kid's loft somewhere. I don't know where he thinks he's getting these figures from, but valuing the club at 100 million. Their team's not even worth 100 million. Their stadium's not even worth 100 million. So it's
well, they need to renovate Hillsborough because it currently doesn't meet the minimums. Their north stand, which ironically has the owner's name in it, doesn't meet the standard safety requirements. So no one's allowed to sit in there. So if you're sat in the stand opposite, all you've got is your owner's name in the stand. It's
Yeah.
quite insane.
Mm.
Yeah, it's insane what's gone on there. Victor Boniface, the situation there.
He's gone to Werder Bremen. I'm seeing
Yeah,
now. After his move
loan.
for AC Milan fell through.
Yes, and he was linked with West Ham at one point, but Werder Bremen closing in on that. Ballon bringing that up in the comments as well, saying that he would have been a good player for Newcastle potentially. Yeah, not a bad player, but he's looks like Werder Bremen, and Ballon's bringing up the Grimsby town of it all as well. Great place for Manchester United fans to stay because you just can't beat them. But Bristol City can, and don't forget Swindon Town beat them 4-0 last season. So by that logic, we're better than Manchester United, although that's not really saying much. Done deal then. Rasmus Højlund has completed a move to Napoli for the rest of the season on loan. I assume that's going to have an option to buy. We'll get more details on that, but he's gone to Napoli. Turbulent Premier League career for Rasmus Højlund. Just because it sounds like Haaland, as you once said, Tom, just because it sounds like Haaland doesn't mean he is Haaland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Højlund is when your mum says we've got Haaland at home.
Exactly.
So.
But loan move to Napoli. Actually, quite a good club to go to because you've got De Bruyne and weirdly Scott McTominay is absolutely tearing it up there as well.
Yeah.
So,
which is a baffling thing to say, really, when you think about Scott McTominay at United, and then all of a sudden, every Italian woman is throwing himself out. He's one of those things where I think sometimes players are not. It's not just so much the ability, but they've got to have the right league to perform. And as you say, the pace of the Italian league is much slower. So it relies less on the physicality of it and more of the technical ability, I find as well. Same with La Liga as well. I think it relies less on the physical side of it and more of the technical ability. Whereas the Premier League is a completely different pace altogether. So it's good for players when they find their level and find the league that they want to compete in. And fair play to Scott McTominay.
he smashed it.
He smashed it in Italy, and in the Premier League, he was viewed as a consistent bench warmer. So
Adam Idah has left Celtic. He's joined Swansea for £7 million. 24 years old. He signed a 5-year contract with the South Wales club. 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes to go. What has been the agenda today? Liverpool have set a British record, signing in Alexander Isak from Newcastle. Liverpool and Crystal Palace have agreed a £35 million fee for centre-back Mark Gay, but reports suggest the deal is in jeopardy now. Stay with that one. That's obviously just drama. That's obviously Sky Sports going, it's in jeopardy. Keep watching us. We won't do that here. If it's actually in jeopardy, we'll see. Bayern Munchen have agreed a £70.5 million deal to sign Chelsea forward Nicholas Jackson on loan with an obligation to buy. So they're not buying him this summer, but the majority of that, the £60 million of it, will go to them next season, next summer, when they are obligated to buy. Royal Antwerp goalkeeper Sene Laimens has arrived in the UK and is on his way to Carrington to undergo a medical for Manchester United. £18.2 million is what the deal is reportedly worth, and Newcastle have agreed a £55 million deal to sign Brentford forward Yoane Wissa as well. And it looks like PSG forward Randall Kolo Muane is in London for a medical ahead of his loan move to Tottenham, while staying with PSG, but this time going in a different airport, not Heathrow, but Manchester Airport, is Gianluigi Donnarumma, who is reportedly close to signing with Manchester City. There is now an agreement in principle. They just need to agree the personal terms at the moment. So Donnarumma, the deal is almost done. That's come in 30 seconds ago. Manchester City on the verge of that one. So final details, dotting I's and crossing T's, presumably, to sign that one. That'd be a hell of a signing, Donnarumma. I'm surprised. Obviously, PSG have already replaced him, but I was surprised they were that keen to let him go.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, that one. I think Donnarumma without a doubt is probably one of the best goalkeepers in world football. You know, if you were to make a list of the top five, you would have him absolutely closer to the top. He's delivered many, like, helped the team deliver many French league, like Ligue 1 titles. Delivered them the Champions League last season and he had some absolutely stellar displays. But I was a bit baffled to hear when Luis Enrique made the decision to get rid of him so willingly. I don't know if there's been a falling out or Donnarumma, because Donnarumma's never won. He's never had a quiet transfer away. I think when he was playing for AC Milan and the news first came out that he was going to PSG, there was a game where the AC Milan ultras were throwing fake money onto the pitch behind the goal that Donnarumma was in. So he's never really had a quiet transfer. He's never had one that's gone, just offer medical signing done. There's always been a bit of drama that's followed. So don't know if he's had a falling out with the manager or anything like that. But I mean, I suppose PSG's loss is obviously Man City's gain, and I think having someone like Donnarumma's definitely not coming to sit on the bench. So
No.
I think Trafford's going to have to obviously step up his game. I think next City game he'll probably be in goal just whilst Donnarumma, because I don't imagine Donnarumma's had much of a pre-season if he's been frozen out of the squad. So
Yeah, he was dropped for the
interesting.
Super Cup game, wasn't he?
Yeah. Another
yeah.
interesting point of talking about a clash of styles or a clash of players. Obviously, with Liverpool imminently due to complete the signing of Isak, where does that leave Ekitike? Because I think Ekitike has had a really good start to the season. He's been really good. He seems like a bit of smart business. I appreciate that. Obviously, that Liverpool is obviously going to want some depth in that area, but at the same time, is Ekitike going to be one to just want to sit on the bench? I suppose.
I guess he'll have to. Well, it's a nice headache to have, if anything. But I suppose he'll have to employ some sort of squad rotation, given the amount of games they're going to play. Champions League,
definitely.
League Cup, FA Cup, Premier League. So it's always good to
Not
have
only
a.
that, but remember that Liverpool for 6 weeks at the start of next year they lose Mo Salah because I think it's the Africa Cup of Nations.
AFCON, yeah.
So I think he'll have scope to play around with the squad and work out what his best front three are during those 3 weeks. Because obviously Salah would be a huge miss for Liverpool, but he's got strength in depth, and that's obviously a good thing. But yeah, I think Liverpool are probably going to be everyone's favourites to win the title, and I think if we all quieten down and listen closely, we can. The moment the Isak transfer goes through, you can hear every single fantasy football team player just completely rejig their entire squad to add Isak in there.
I should
you can hear the tapping of thousands of phones.
I should say, despite the phone number being on the screen, you cannot call us. We are not taking calls. But we did just get a call. I just saw one come through. So sorry, we're not taking calls. But if you do want to leave a voicemail message, you can do so.
Please leave a message after the beep.
Please leave a message after the beep. Elliot signing. No, let's skip that one. Rangers, they've got a £10 million new man. Striker Youssef Kimiti with he's joined from Everton, so £10 million. Good business. I imagine Jose Mourinho will be very happy with that signing once he's appointed Rangers manager, because that is the story apparently. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether or not that will happen. I don't imagine so.
So just looking now, we've just had there's confirmation come through that Marco Asensio has signed in a permanent transfer to Fenerbahce from PSG, and obviously he was a player that Aston Villa wanted to have back, but it's been confirmed he's gone to Fenerbahce. So obviously Villa missing out on another one of their players there. Although I think, to be fair, they will be all right. With Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho coming in on deadline day, I think they've reinforced in some quality areas. I do think Villa do look very, very light in defence, but that's just me. I think
much of a muchness.
Sorry,
much of a muchness, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, every team's going to have players that they missed out on, players that they wish they had gotten, and that's just football. It depends on how quickly you can get it over the line. Just double checking to see if we've had anything else come.
Florentino Luis has signed for Burnley on a loan from Benfica, option to buy as well if they want to make the deal permanent. The deal includes an option to buy. So it looks like Florentino Luis is joining Burnley on a permanent deal next summer, but he's on loan right now from Benfica. Burnley, yeah. So that's been confirmed. That is over the line. I still think Burnley are going to go down, but you know, it is what it is. Thank you if your number ends 532, by the way, if you did call. Hello. Sorry, you didn't leave a voicemail. It was blank when I listened to it, but I did just listen to it now quickly. It wasn't "you're a wanker" or anything like that, so don't worry about that. It was just blank. You do
so it wasn't for me then.
No, basically. If you do want to leave a voicemail message, you can. I better set that to do not disturb so it doesn't come up again. But yeah, we are with you another 20 odd minutes, I'd say. What are we? Quarter to 7. So what? 25 minutes. So
yeah,
we are. Alas, we'll wait for the end of the. I haven't got the Big Ben graphic, I'm afraid. So we're not going live to Big Ben like they do on Sky and things like that. We don't have that kind of budget. I must admit.
No, I'm filling in for Big Ben. He said, "Tom, you can have this one." So let's have a look, see if anything else has come through. I don't think anything has. It's all gone. I think
it's all gone quiet on the Western Front at the moment.
Yeah, it has all gone quiet. I think we're expecting some imminent deals. The fact that the last notification we had on the Mark Gahey deal was the fact that the deal hangs in the balance. That's an interesting one. Just had come through. Ajax have managed to beat Celtic for the signing of Kasper Dolberg.
Yes, I've just had that one come up. Yeah, Celtic accept defeat on their number one target. There is a complaint amongst Celtic fans that Brandon has not been well backed this summer, which might explain the penalty shootout defeat to Kirat Almaty in the Champions League, which sounds like a player's name, but it's a football club and they're in the Champions League. Celtic in the Europa League instead. Europa League is looking quite tasty.
Just some breaking news for you, Dan. Confirmation that Real Betis have signed Antony from Manchester United.
Fantastic. Oh, yes, it's just come up here. Yes. Yes. Just don't let him in nightclubs. That's all I'm going to say on that. Allegedly. Allegedly. He never did anything wrong. He was never found guilty of anything.
That's what that voicemail was for. They were calling you to say, make sure you say allegedly. That was a solicitor calling you.
That was my lawyer saying, make sure if you accuse Antony of anything, you say allegedly.
Because they were just saying, Dan, we can't afford another libel case against you.
Yes. No, not after I was sued that one time. No, I'm joking. Yes, Antony has joined Real Betis. £21.7 million. I mean, he was never going to come back into the Manchester United squad, was he? So they might as well have got rid of him.
So what is absolutely bizarre there, when you consider it, Manchester United have made a loss of £70 million on Antony,
and all because he got accused of something, and then they never used him since. There is also apparently a 50% sell-on clause of net profit. So there's a net profit sell-on clause of 50%. So clearly they are accepting less money, but if Real Betis sell him, then they're going to get their chunk of change. So they are presumably going to make a little bit more money, unless he just does the funniest thing ever, runs out his Betis contract and just leaves on a free transfer.
Yep.
And then screws Manchester United again.
One of the things I did want to talk about this transfer window, and I think it shows a worrying trend, is the number of players. I think the number of players this transfer window who have publicly spoken out against their current club in order to force a move to a club that wants to come in for them. So, like, you had it with Isak.
Yeah.
Isak. You've had it with Wissa. You've had it with. I mean, Gyökeres did it in Portugal. with Sporting, and I think it just sets a worrying trend for players that essentially are holding, like the club at the end of the day are their employers. You
Yeah.
know, they are receiving a salary, they are working for it. And I think in any other walk of life, you cannot hold your employers to ransom to try and force yourself into another job. In no other part of the world, in no other part of the working world, does that make sense or ever work out. So I think again, that's probably going to be a worrying thing when some of the other players look at some of these higher profile stars, willing to sit out the rest of their contracts and not play for a club again in order to force the move. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, no club is ever going to want to pay a player for sitting on his arse all the time,
Yeah.
and they'd much rather get him off the books. But if you're the owner of a football club, or if you're a coach or a manager, that's got to be one of the hardest positions to be put in. If you've got a player that you rely on and you value and you rate so highly, just outright refusing to try and force a move to another club. I think this window's probably been. I think this window is probably going to be remembered, not just for the transfer record being broken, but also the window in which players threw their toys out the pram to force moves elsewhere.
I think Mark Gay did it right by not.
Mark Gay,
He basically just went, "I'll leave
professional.
on a free transfer. I'm happy to see out my contract at Palace. They've been really good
Yeah.
to me, but I would like to join Liverpool. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and I'll join them in a year's time, and I'll play in Europe for Palace. Nice.
Yeah, because,
nice
if you
player.
think about it, in a year's time, Virgil van Dijk's going to be 34.
Yeah, he guaranteed game time. So yeah.
So
a
there's
long
nothing wrong with
list.
hiding his time.
A long list of potential transfers has just fallen in front of me. Jackson to Bayern, Sancho to Villa, potentially. Apparently, the wait for Alexander Isak goes on. He is not signed on the dotted line because, of course, he hasn't. This is transfer deadline day, and we need drama. We need drama. So, the latest EFL deals, Port Vale have made a 12th edition of the summer. Devante Cole has joined on a 3-year contract from West Bromwich Albion. Johnny Smith has signed for Gillingham on a season-long loan from Wigan. And Jamie Knight-Labelle has signed for Swindon Town on a season-long loan from Bristol City, one of 2 Bristol City loanees that Swindon Town have made today, as I check my radio station inbox to make sure that Swindon Town have not sent me anything ahead of the deadline that I couldn't tell you about if they did send it to me, presumably because it would be embargoed until 7 o'clock. They haven't. So there we go. Can't tease anything, I'm afraid. So Liverpool are saying that the Isak deal was effectively done. And they're not sure they'll get the Mark Gay one over the line. So that's the news coming out of Anfield. Elsewhere, we've got Gundogan potentially going to Galatasaray, Kolo Muane to Tottenham, Ederson to Fenerbahce, which is part of the deal for Donnarumma coming in. Ederson has to go, which was always kind of the case this summer, and it did look like Ederson was on his way out of Manchester City anyway. So there is quite a lot of deals left to do, and there's about 6 minutes. Coming up to 6 minutes left of this window this summer. And of course, it's been a weird transfer window because we had that 2 weeks before the Club World Cup where there was a transfer window open for all English clubs to be able to do some business. I think Swindon Town signed a player during that window as well. So it wasn't just the clubs going to the World Club Cup that took advantage of that window. That was a very good opportunity for a lot of lower league clubs to do some business early or to get the lay of the land on players that they would want when the main transfer window opens. So it was a tactical advantage, I think, for a lot of clubs to that window, even though maybe it shouldn't have been open in the first place for 2 weeks, but it happened. It helped a lot of clubs. So ahead of 7 o'clock, let's just recap what's happened today. The transfer window is closing imminently. A number of outstanding deals. Liverpool have paid a record £125 million for Newcastle striker Alexander Isak, whilst they've also agreed a deal for Mark Gay from Crystal Palace. Brentford forward Johan Wissa has gone to Newcastle. Aston Villa still completing loan deals for Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho from Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund has left Old Trafford to go to Napoli. Antony has joined Real Betis on a permanent. Man City hoping to get Gianluigi Donnarumma over the line from PSG. And, of course, the transfer window in Scotland closes at 11 p.m. Rangers are in talks to sign Everton striker Joseph Chimiti and Marseille's Canada international Derek Cornelius as well. I thought that Joseph Chimiti deal had already been done, but apparently it's still up in the air. That's just the nature of transfer deadline day. Clint, let's see if any other deals come over the line. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes, 5 seconds to go in this transfer deadline day. As we await the closing moments and of course, by the way, it's an international break, so you'll see none of these new signings play this weekend for your clubs, unless you're a lower league fan.
I've got to be honest, I absolutely despise international breaks.
Yeah.
International breaks are just nothing. I cannot be bothered with them.
Andorra and Serbia are England's opponents. We looked at the team on Saturday night, and we're not here on Saturday night because it's an international break and we don't do it. So we're having a weekend off.
Yeah, I cannot be bothered with international breaks. They are,
unless it's the World Cup or the Euros, and I'm really not that fussed. I'm really not that fussed.
Yeah, it's one of them, and I think just give me more club football. That would be fine. Because then again, if you think about the argument about football players playing too many games in a year, they're playing 60 plus games a season, averaging more than 2 games a week. Factored in training on that, and then international, I mean, I feel. Do you know what? I feel terrible for any player who's played in the Club World Cup who's then going to be making their World Cup squad. That would be 2 summers in a row where they've had 0 break whatsoever. You've had Club World Cup.
Well, if they're European, 3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Chelsea. Like you think about Chelsea's like the players Chelsea have got, like Cole Palmer, he wants to be in the England squad. He's done Club World Cup. He's then had a full season. And then he's got the World Cup next summer. So honestly, I think something's got to give there. I think the players. It's easy to say, the condition of players is much better now, and it's like, yes, but you can still run your body into the ground. As we see was so often, like. All it takes is for one player to get one significant injury, and they're out for a good few months. And no player is obviously going to want to risk injury with the World Cup just around the corner.
Watford have signed right back Jeremy Petrus on an undisclosed 4-year deal. 27 years old, he's made 56 appearances for the Belgian side Royal Charleroi. I can't say that name, but I can't say the name of the club, but I can say the name of the player. A minute and a half left of the transfer window. We'll stick around for another 10 minutes to see what deals go across the line. And as we await the end of the transfer window, we'll give you the headlines of what's happened today. About a minute and 10 seconds to go. You can count it down. The clock is right there if you want on the stream. You can email any of your thoughts. The email is there, thefootballfanshow@deadair.media. You can contact us on X, Facebook as well. Just send us a message. Contact details are there as we await. We're into the final minute of the transfer window this summer. And until January, every team is locked in place. And people will regret not signing contracts. Maybe they will sign contracts. Maybe Gay might miss out. Isak's done, but we'll wait and see because there's actually no confirmation. But it should be done. I imagine they'll have got the paperwork over the line, and then the deal will be announced in a couple of hours' time, maybe in the middle of the night. Like it was announced that they'd agreed to a £125 million deal. That was like 1 a.m. in the morning. So Right, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Window's closed. Everyone, the
Window is now
transfer
closed.
window has closed, my friends. I can't do the Big Ben dong, so there you go. I didn't even have it as a sound effect. What could you know? What I could do the sound of Gary Neville having an orgasm. There you go. Transfer window is closed with the sound of Gary Neville having an orgasm. So there you go. Yes.
What a way to sign off.
Yeah, exactly. We'll stick around for another 10 minutes. It's chillax now. We can relax. We can say no more transfers now until January. Well, there may be a couple more deals to get over the line, and that's why we're going to stick around for another 10 minutes. But whilst not quite there, there's still about £1 million worth of deals to be confirmed. About £1 million worth of deals to be confirmed. So there is a deal sheet that goes through, and there is a Crystal Palace signing that I'll leave. If you're on the Sky Sports website, Tom, I'll let you deal with that. I'll just explain what a deal sheet is. So the deal sheet is basically, we intend to sign this player. It's not before the window closes, so they submit that to say, we want an extension, and they get about 2 hours extension to do these deals. They're obviously not allowed to sign anybody new unless they're on the deal sheet. If they're on the deal sheet, then it's more about dotting the I's, crossing the T's. That's the kind of stuff. But Crystal Palace, as soon as the window closed, have confirmed another signing. JD Canvert from Toulouse, £20.8 million, 19 years old. And he's apparently going to get the number 23 shirt as well. So, and speaking to the club, they've released a statement saying it's very, quote, it's very exciting. Crystal Palace are a really good club with a sporting project. It's a big step. It's the best championship in the world. No, you're in the Premier League, mate. Get the league right. So I'm excited to start. Maybe he wants to play in the championship, in which case he can take Crystal Palace there, you know. Akanji is set for Manuel Akanji's having a medical at Inter. They've agreed an initial loan with an obligation to buy. The loan fee is 1 million. The obligation to buy is 13 million. Sorry, it's £900,000, 1 million euros. The obligation to buy is £13 million or 15 million euros. So those deals coming through. Just will recap then what's happened today, because the transfer window in England has closed. There are a number of outstanding deals still yet to be confirmed, including that British record transfer fee of Alexander Isak, the £125 million move from Newcastle to Liverpool, and Mark Gay from Crystal Palace to Liverpool for around £35 million. We know that Johan Wissa has gone from Brentford to Newcastle. Aston Villa completing the loan signings of Harvey Elliott from Liverpool. Now, loans, there's a loan window which isn't relevant to the transfer window. There is and you can still sign loan players for like another month or something. So that'll get done in due course. Also, they're trying to sign Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, also on loan. Rasmus Højlund, he's gone to Napoli on loan from Old Trafford. Anthony's gone to Real Betis on a deal worth around 20 odd million. Manchester City, they're hoping that Gianluigi Donnarumma will join from PSG. They're hoping to get that deal done. 11 p.m. for the Scottish deadline. So Rangers still in talks to sign Everton striker Youssef Chermiti and Marseille's Canadian international Derek Cornelius as well. But they're under no pressure to do that. They've still got 4 hours. They've still got 4 hours to do those deals. So yeah, that's the lay of the land. Surprised that Isak hasn't signed, Tom, or are we just? Is it a massive? Wouldn't it be funny if neither of those deals went ahead? of Isak and Gay. Isak was forced to stay at Newcastle. I know Gay doesn't have a problem staying at Crystal Palace, but imagine Isak having to stay at Newcastle. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'll get through at some point this evening. However, it would be very funny to me if he had to then go cap in hand with his tail between his legs going, I'm sorry I said all those things. Can I play some football? It's like that kid that never gets the chance to play football. And he's just there with the ball to the kids at school going, can I please play some football? Can I join in? No, you can't. Eddie Howe's just there saying, nah, not you. We don't want you.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think the Isak deal's done. They're saying that the announcement's imminent, and it always takes a bit of time. You know what clubs are like. Especially especially Premier League clubs. They like making a big song and dance, a video, a media communication. And it takes time to do those. Like, I know, as an Arsenal fan, I know that whenever we make a signing, they always want to make all manner of videos. They want to get all manner of media done, the editing done before it's formally announced. So I think Liverpool are just doing the same thing, because I can't imagine for the British record transfer, they will just do a tweet and just go, we're delighted to announce the signing of Alexander Isak on a long-term deal. They are going to want to make a big song and dance about this as much as possible. I think, that's going to be the main thing that they'll need to do.
Glad I'm not their social media person. I'd have just had a video of him getting out of a car and somebody throwing the shirt at him saying, there you go, bye. Turn up report for training tomorrow. See ya.
Yeah. I think the Mark Gahey one's not going to go through. I think that one's past that point now where it's going to get done. I think obviously the replacement defender coming in for Palace, that move collapsing has obviously impacted things. And Liverpool, credit to them. They had everything set up in London for him to complete his medical there. So that was good from them. But Mark Gahey, if he doesn't go, as we said, he's got a year left with Palace before he can leave on a free, and that's a year where he can play in Europe for a bit, find his feet, and everything in playing in European competition, and then he goes off to Liverpool on a free. So, he's been a consummate professional with the way the transfer speculation around him is handled. He's not sat at home. He's not thrown his toys out of the pram. He's not said he's never going to play for Palace again. He's set a really good example for other players to follow, to say, look, if I am leaving the club, especially after last night, the stunner that he scored against Villa, I think was a terrific, that was the perfect send off for Mark Gahey. If there was ever the best way to say goodbye to a team, a performance like that is absolutely there. It'll be very, very interesting. I am very keen to see Liverpool. Do you know what? My only sadness this season is the fact that Liverpool have already played Newcastle at St James's Park, because I would have loved to have seen the reaction that Isak would have gotten if the transfer was done before then.
It would have been tasty. It would have been tasty.
Mate, there's few things in this world more frightening than
pissed off Geordies.
50,000 Geordies booing you to shit.
Yes, I can imagine.
And I'm not being funny. Liverpool fans will be lapping it up. It's not like Liverpool fans need any more reason to be more smug than they
are. Crystal Palace striker Edouard has joined Lens. He was left out the Palace squad. A deal sheet has been submitted for Johan Wisler's transfer to Newcastle, so that one's going to roll on for the next hour and a bit. And in a late twist, Bournemouth deal to sign Roman Favor is very much in the balance as the window closes. And apparently, according to Mr. Ornstein, the reason that Mark Gahey's deal is not signed, sealed, delivered, to quote Stevie Wonder, is because they couldn't find a replacement, basically. So now it's Oliver Glasner's decision to basically say, well, you're going to leave on a free in the year, unless we sign a deal to bring somebody in January. In which case, you can go then. Tom, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go because it's 7:10. I'm going to stick around for another 5 minutes just to see if any other deals.
No, I'll stick around for another 5.
If you want to stick around for another 5, I was going to let you go. I was going to let you go. I was giving you the invitation, opening the forbidden door to let you leave and go join Sky Sports.
Giving me the easy way out, basically. Handing me the loaded gun to put in my mouth.
Yes, I was gonna give you like the what would be the forbidden door for us? I suppose United We Stand, I guess, or HITC Sevens. Go join Alfie or something like that. Yeah.
Robbie Lyle from AFTV.
Exactly. You'd be AFTV, wouldn't you? Yes. That would be the forbidden door.
Boss music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just waiting for this. So a deal sheet for Wiss has been submitted. Just got to wait. Time-wise, probably it'll take about another hour or something for that one to be confirmed. And I think that's it. I can't see any deal sheet for Gay has been submitted or any deal sheet for... I mean, surely there is a deal sheet for Isak. But we have confirmed the Telegraph reporting that we're into deal sheet territory for Marc Guéhi. So a deal sheet has been submitted for Marc Guéhi. So that one is still up in the air, but it could still happen. It could still happen.
It's baffling to me that you rely on a publication such as the Telegraph.
I know, right? I know. I'm sorry. But we're just trying to...
Although it is the first time I've seen in the last couple of weeks where the Telegraph hasn't reported on something to do with a immigrant hotel.
Wow.
So...
everyone loves the England team so much that they've been painting the St. George's Cross on roundabouts. That's how much they love the England team. Or is that something... that's probably about something else.
Someone mistakenly painted the Danish flag on one of them.
Yes. Well, you know what? Good. Norse pride. Bring back the Vikings. That's history. Yeah. That's heritage, as Jose Mourinho would say. That's heritage. Also, Manchester United managers getting sacked. That's heritage as well. Jackson has agreed. Nicholas Jackson's gone. He's gone to Bayern. Loan deal agreed. Signed, sealed, delivered. £70.5 million overall. Obligation to buy next summer. So he would be joining Bayern München. Yes, so he's gone on a year-long loan with an obligation to buy. So he's gone to Germany, to the Bundesliga. He'll smash it in the Bundesliga, I reckon.
Absolutely, I think so. Yeah, he'll rediscover some form.
Yeah, and considering who Bayern have up front, I think Kane's done quite well there. Chilwell, Ben Chilwell, has signed a permanent 2-year deal. He's gone to Strasbourg, who are the sister club of Chelsea. So basically, he's swapped Chelsea for the club that the Chelsea owners own, which is Strasbourg. So he's going to get managed by Liam Rosenior, of all people. So good manager, by the way. Treated very badly at Hull City. But he's the boss at Strasbourg in Ligue 1. And Ben Chilwell has gone to Strasbourg, basically because they didn't want him at Chelsea. So they went, we'll say you to our sister team, see what you can do in Ligue 1. Hopefully,
I think it's a good move for him.
Career of his.
I think he would have struggled. The kind of fullback he is, I think he would have struggled to break ground in English football. Still, he's not going to displace Marc Cucurella by any stretch. So, I think this is just a good opportunity for him to obviously ply his trade in another league and dare I say be considered for the England team. I think for Ben Chilwell now at this point in his career, it's probably going to be a very long shot. But look, England team are quite light in fullback positions at the moment. So, could he be in there? Who knows?
Who knows? He'll want to get back into that England team ahead of the World Cup in the USA. And hopefully Donald Trump won't be there to say, that's my trophy. I'm going to keep that trophy. I like that trophy. Because
that trophy's golder than me. I don't like that trophy.
Well, he kept the Club World Cup trophy, so they had to make another one. Apparently, he's got it in the Oval Office. So, just waiting for any other deals to come through. I think we'll call it there. 7:15 coming up. 10 seconds left of the stream. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Transfer Deadline Day. Good luck to all the players that could potentially sign for clubs. Let's hope it goes through. And we've gone
So it's good.
one
So it's
second
good
or
night-
2
it's
seconds
good-
over the stream.
So it's good night from me.
It's good night from him as well. Good night. There you go. There's your Morecambe and two Ronnies. Sorry,
That's
two
the
Ronnies.
Ronnies.
Butchered.
You uncultured
Butchered.
swine.
I am uncultured. I am uncultured. That is the breaking news. Breaking news, not transfer. I'm